unique program because where else have we had a chance to hear the genuine leaders from Nepal come and speak? It's a great contribution, so let's give them a round of applause. And I would say Anne-Marie in particular, who's done so much work, along with Oregon and some other sisters and brothers here to make this possible. This has gone on for a couple months to organize an event like this, and for our guests who have come all the way from Nepal to participate, really something. I want to go back to where I started in the beginning of the program regarding the international environment, and especially what the United States government is doing regarding People's Republic of China, it has an obvious impact on all of its neighbors, including Nepal, including India, including all of the people in Asia. But I would say ultimately for people everywhere, including people right here in the United States. The reason the United States government considers China's peaceful rise to be an existential threat to the United States government is not because China poses a military threat to the United States or to the people here. China is not about to invade any part of the United States. China doesn't have military bases surrounding the United States. China does not have tactical nuclear weapons in close-by countries pointed at the United States. On the other hand, the United States, through the so-called Asia Pivot, is doing just that towards the People's Republic of China. When Mike Pence came to attend the conference, his plane came within a few miles of territory that China claims in the South China Sea. He said this was a freedom of navigation exercise. Whenever you hear the United States government talk about freedom of navigation, when the U.S. Navy has all of the aircraft carriers and battle destroyer groups prowling the seven seas, we have to recognize that for what it is. That's a euphemism which says basically to China and to the world, don't you dare try to prevent or present yourself in any way as an obstacle to the complete global domination of the United States government and the Pentagon in all areas, including the areas that surround your own country. Don't you dare, China, pretend that you have sovereignty in the South China Sea, as if the Pacific Ocean belongs to the United States, as if the Pacific Ocean is just an American lake, like Lake Ontario or Lake Erie. China constitutes this existential threat, not because China is being aggressive, but as China grows economically and retains the fundamental essence of the socialist government that was established with the Chinese Revolution, that constitutes, in the eyes of the United States, a fundamental threat. The United States government actually wants to overthrow the government of China. It wants to carry out regime change in China. It wants to dismember China. You think that's not possible? The Soviet Union was a multinational, multi-ethnic, multi-religious country. In 1991, when it was broken up after decades of extreme pressure, the Soviet Union not only lost its socialist government, but the Soviet Union as a country was broken up. The Baltics, gone. Ukraine, gone. The Caucasus, Armenia, Azerbaijan, Georgia, and then Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan, Turkmenistan, the entire multinational republic broken up. That made the American government very happy, because the U.S. then felt a new era we were entering a new era of unipolar global domination because the Soviet Union was gone. But China, to their surprise, has not only grown as an economic power, but retained the Communist Party of China in power. As Mike Pence said, we were shocked. We thought when China entered the World Trade Organization that it would have real freedom, meaning that the Communist Party would be overthrown. But instead, China has played by the rules of the global capitalist economy. It's growing, it's stronger, and the Communist Party and the Socialist Project have not been overthrown. And that's what makes the United States think China is a fundamental threat. Not because it's an aggressive threat, but because it exists as it said it would exist starting in 1949. We, the people of the United States, have to support our brothers and sisters in Nepal when they try to exercise self-determination. Do they want socialism? Yes. Do they have the full basis for socialism? Not yet. They're trying to develop the basis for socialism. That's a long, complicated process. But the most important thing for us as Americans is to tell the government that speaks in our name that you don't speak actually for us when you try to stop China or Nepal or India or any country from actually becoming a self-determining force for their own people, their own region. That's our obligation, is to stand up to the U.S. government and expose their lies, and they really are lies about China, Nepal, and India. We have to expose their lies. And the other thing that we have to do is continue to build this kind of program, like the Internationalist Student Front has helped us build, which is let the American people learn about Nepal themselves, not through reading State Department communiques. Let the American people learn about China and India. That's what we have to do. We have to overcome the profound ignorance in the United States, which is not simply because the American people are dumb. It's because the American corporate-owned media and the government want the American people not to know what's going on in the world. So we have to tell the truth. We have to build solidarity, and we have to hear from the people who are, in fact, in the crosshairs of the U.S. That's why